What's up, guys? It's Russo and Jordy with Backdoor Fantasy Sports, and I am in a storage room right now, in the in the place that my wife and some family are actually going to be at the beach for a week. So I got a little makeshift setup here. They happen to have an extra room with power in it and a door, so it all worked out. But we're going to be talking about the Sunday slate for Week 3. We've got a good slate, a nice stacked slate. This has been better for us, obviously, probably better for everybody. But when you've got all these extra games, it's so much easier to cash, obviously, because we had an unfortunate situation in that Thursday night game. I don't look back at the picks of ours that didn't hit and regret taking them. Sometimes we do. In this case, it just wasn't the case. It was nobody. I mean, you maybe you were expecting a blowout, but we weren't expecting it to be that bad, and neither was Vegas. Vegas had Patriots projected at 16 points, so we thought there would be. I mean, Braylon Allen had as many rush attempts as the entire Patriots running back squad. So it was just. I mean, their O-line is completely beat up. They're missing 3 starters. They had another starter that was dealing with a little bit of an injury, and we could see it. And then on top of that, the play calling, I think, was horrendous. There was no adjustments made at the half. In my opinion, you're down, you're trailing in this game, which we expected, but we expected the running backs would get a little bit more targets, get some passing involved to try to catch up. It just didn't pan out that way. There's going to be games like this across the season, so we're going to keep moving forward and looking forward to the Sunday slate. And then we got 2 games on Monday. So tomorrow night we'll have a doubleheader video coming out for the Monday slate. If you guys haven't signed up for Underdog yet, they're continuing to drop awesome promos. The Pick'em is a lot of fun. The state I live in, it's Pick'em Champions, which is fun too. It's more like kind of a different type of competition where it's like peer-to-peer. So sometimes even if your slip doesn't do exactly the way you wanted it to do, you're still it's peer-to-peer, so sometimes the payouts are still pretty decent. But yeah, if you haven't signed up for Underdog yet, use code BACKDOOR. They're going to give you up to $1,000 in bonus cash with your first deposit and a free pick, and they already have free plays on the board. I believe CD Lamb is still available. I haven't used mine yet. They have the no sweat token. They have all sorts of exciting stuff for everybody, and then you get your free pick and your $1,000 up to $1,000 bonus cash just for signing up. So go through the link in the description, and it also helps support the show. So if you enjoy our videos, that's good for all of us. So take advantage of that. Use code BACKDOOR, and they'll hook you up with all those goodies. Let's talk about the plays we're getting into.
Let's do it.
So, and if you're new to the show, make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell, give us a like, drop us a comment, all the above. We appreciate you guys. All right, so my 3 plays, I'm getting these on Prize Picks and Underdog. I like Zach Charbonnet over 15 fantasy score on Prize Picks. And what am I? Oh no, I just closed my Underdog out.
You got him at $13.95 on Underdog.
Okay, thanks. When you break down your plays, I'm gonna go lock those back in. But
cool.
All right, and then I like the fact that Prize Picks is full point PPR. We'll break down why I like this Charbonnet play, but my next play, I really like this play. Kyler Murray over 267.5 passing plus rushing yards on Prize Picks, and I think it's at like 271.5 if I'm not mistaken. Yep. On Underdog. And then Rasheed Shaheed, I like his fantasy score. 10.5 is just way too low. And then what is that, like 9 something on Underdog?
9.5 on Underdog, yeah.
9.5. Okay, cool. So yeah, those are the 3 I'm rolling with. What are you getting into, Jordy?
Yeah, I'm taking Calvin Ridley for over 3.5 receptions. And then I'm taking Jordan Whittington over 35.5 receiving yards. and I'm taking Jaylen Warren over 6.5 rush attempts. Jordan Whittington is actually at 30.5 on Underdog, so we're getting a 6 yard discount over there. And then for Jaylen Warren, I had to switch it up a little bit. I'm going with over 14.5 receiving yards. This is actually on Prize Picks as well, so if you like that a little bit better, if you like his receiving upside, you can take that on Prize Picks. But the 6.5 rush attempts is low. I'll get into that, but they had it all the way at like 8 on Underdog, so I went ahead and took the 6.5 rush attempts on Prize Picks and the 14.5 receiving yards over there on Underdog. So
cool. All right. And by the way, I'm connected via Wi-Fi, not hardwired. So I apologize if at any point my voice or the voices sound a little weird, or if my video skips a little bit, just bear with me. I'll be here for about a week. Okay. So let's start breaking down these plays. So Zach Charbonnet, I've been excited to see his opportunities. Like I've talked about it before, I drafted him as a rookie in Dynasty. And I've been a little bit disappointed with his rushing performance with his opportunities, but he is just a really good pass catcher, and he's got a great matchup this week going against Miami. And this is like we'll see how this goes on the offensive side for Miami, but the actual matchup for Zach Charbonnet, 22nd in rushing yards allowed, 19th in receiving yards allowed. But let me take a look at this over under. Let's see what Vegas is projecting. So 41.5 over under. Seahawks favored by 4.5. We have Kenneth Walker out, and Zach Charbonnet is one of those backups that just gets the full workload when the starter's out. So I think that because he's so much better at pass catching, I do think that he's going to be good for probably like 4 receptions at least. Maybe he'll get 5 again, but last week he had 5 targets, 5 receptions. He's great at catching the ball. But also I think that they're going to, even though they're going to be probably leading in this game, but you never know. Like I just, Mike McDaniel, you never know what he's got up his sleeve, but without Tua, it's going to be tough for him to compete here. But I'm guessing that this is the Seahawks are going to be able to get a decent lead and then probably try to be running the clock at least midway through the third, maybe in the fourth, or at any point if they have a significant lead. But I love the workload that we can expect from Charbonnet. He's got a solid matchup, so I'm not going to really overthink that too much. I'm just throwing him in. If we look at the Daily Grind DFS Optimizer, they've got the fantasy score as the top play. And the reason I like it is because full point PPR, any passes that he is able to catch, it's going to be worth a point. He's going to definitely get a ton of, I think he had 14 rush attempts last week. So all those yards, if he happens to get in the end zone, he's definitely going to hit this. And I like it either way this goes. If Miami ends up making this competitive, I think that's just going to increase our chances of Zach Charbonnet getting more receptions. And those stack up quick in full point PPR. Daily Grind has us at a 51.51% odds to hit the over as the top play for him on Prize Picks. Minus 106 is their odds. And it just gets a little confusing when we're talking fantasy score. But they've got his rushing plus receiving TDs favored to go over minus 124. So they think he's getting a touchdown in this. They like his rushing and receiving yards. If you want to take any of these, go for it. They have his rushing yards juiced to go over 68.5. And they have his rushing and receiving yards juiced to go over at 94.5. So they're expecting him to get a lot of work here and to put up some numbers. So I'm just going to take the whole fantasy score. We're attached to all of it. Let's see. Yeah, BetMGM has this up at 15.9. Caesars 15.9. So getting it at 15 flat is great. I think he's going to definitely get this done. If you guys want to check out this app that I'm on right now, the DFS Optimizer from Daily Grind, they're a partner of ours. They make really killer DFS tools. And if you use code BACKDOOR, you'll get 25% off of whatever tool you select and for however long you want to lock it in for up to a year. Just code BACKDOOR at dgfantasy.com and you can lock it in for the full football season. It's great for basketball too. Basketball, it's really clutch. So take advantage of that, and let's jump into the next play. Kyler Murray. I love this play. So Detroit, first of all, we've talked about it on other episodes. like our fantasy football show, but this is the highest over under of the week for this game, 51.5, and the Lions are favored by 3. Just for fun, I'm gonna just refresh that. I just want to see if Vegas has made any updates, because I don't think I refreshed that in a little bit. No, they still have the Lions favored by 3. We're playing in Arizona. We talked about it on our fantasy football show, but I think the Cardinals are going to win this game. The Cardinals have been playing killer this year. Kyler looks amazing. He had a perfect passer rating last week, and he's fitting in perfect with Drew Petzing, their offensive coordinator that started last year. He's a young, new, exciting offensive coordinator. I think he's one of the best in the league. And then we got Ben Johnson on the other side. So both of these offenses are going to be super juicy for fantasy and for daily fantasy. But if we look at what Kyler's done on the ground, both weeks, week 1 he ran for 57 yards. Week 2 he ran for 59 yards. So I love that. Like, if you ask me about his passing attack this week, and we happen to just maybe drop 40 yards off of that line, even at 271, we're looking at like just over like in the 220 range to cash this if he keeps up the running. And if you watch these games, he turns these ridiculous plays into long runs. Like, some of these are designed runs, some of these are just scrambling, like elite level scrambling. If we look at the actual, why aren't they showing me the matchup here? Let me just refresh this real quick. There we go. So the Lions are 21st in passing yards allowed and 4th in rushing yards allowed. But I want to see specifically to quarterbacks. So I'm going to go over to the rushing yards tab. And to quarterbacks, they're 11th in the league for rushing yards allowed. So they're a little bit above average. And you have one of the best, running mobile quarterbacks in the league. So I'm staying in the flames with Kyler on this one. I think that, this over under, they expect them to put up a lot of points, and it's not going to be all James Conner. So I think he's going to be super active with his passing and keeping plays alive with his rushing. If we hop over here to Daily Grind, they have this pretty juiced. They have this as the top play for Kyler on Prize Picks, because we're getting it at 267.5. Again, right there, if he happens to go for 50 rushing yards again, and we like 218 passing yards gets it done, I'm loving this line. Daily Grind has it at a -131, and everyone else has it up at that 271.5, like we're getting it at Underdog, and no one's favoring it to go under. It's all like a 50-50 shot or juice to go over. Like Underdog's odds has it at -122. So I like this. I'm going to be taking it on both platforms. And to wrap my plays up, I got Rasheed Shaheed. Us, we don't like using words like free play or locks or anything like that, but this is as close as it gets for, like, it's just one of these situations where we're getting in on it early before the odds makers are catching up to what this guy's doing. He's playing the Eagles, who have not been good against the pass, 30th in receiving yards allowed. And this is his receiving yards is the EV plus play on Outlier. So if you guys want to take that, go for that. I think that's going to hit. But I'm going to go ahead and just take the fantasy score, because he's been getting in the end zone. Actually, I believe he has he's been killing it, right? Yeah, so he has back-to-back games. And then we go back to last year, last game of the season. He was emerging. They went for 40 plus points in that last game, and now they've got back-to-back games, 40 plus points. I don't know when teams are, not teams, but I don't know when these analysts are going to start recognizing this is for real, like the odds makers and whatnot. Let's take a look at this over under real fast. Where are we at here? This is one of Jordy can probably agree with me here. We're super excited. Maybe one of the most exciting games of the week. So we have a 49.5 over under. Saints favored by 3. So this is just under what that Cardinals game against Detroit is at. So they're expecting fireworks in this game as well. But yeah, he's been scoring touchdowns. He's so fast. I don't want to take too much longer on this, but let's just look at. So yeah, last week he went for 96 yards. Week 1, he went for 73 yards. Now he's got a juicy matchup in a game that has a super high over under. So I'm going to take the full fantasy score because we know he's scoring touchdowns and he's just burning people. And Derek Carr, once Rasheed burns defenders, like Derek Carr is just laying out these beautiful deep balls, like way ahead where Rasheed has to catch up to them, and he does. So I love this play. He went for 20.9 fantasy score last week, 16.3 in week 1, and then that last game I told you guys about from last year, 15.5. So I love this all across the board. If we look at daily grind, they also have the fantasy score up top, 50.73% odds to hit the over. And some of these platforms like DraftKings are already bumping it up to 11. But I think he's going to go well over this. If I saw this play at like 12 or 12.5, I would still take the over personally. So if you catch this video late, I'm confident taking this as high as 13 personally. But that wraps up all my plays. If you guys want to check out this app Outlier, they're also a partner of ours. So just go through the link in the description of the video. You don't have to put a code in or anything, but just go through that link and they'll give you 7 days. So you can just use it for a week and take advantage of it. See how you like it. If you like it, just keep your subscription going. All right, Jordy, I'll pass it over now, bro.
All right. Yeah, Derek Carr needs to keep him and his deep balls away from my Cowboys because he keeps getting fined. But
also true.
I love all these plays. As you can see, I've already got this locked in. I placed this as soon as we got all these plays together here, so I'm loving the value we got here. I think it's gonna be a great Sunday. Last week we got robbed of our sweep because Cooper Kupp literally died because of all the targets. So let's just keep it rolling. I've got Calvin Ridley for over 3.5 receptions here. I love this play. I know it looks a little rocky with them. He is just clearing this line. Like, he went for 3 against Chicago, but he went for 4 against the Jets, and that was actually a really tough matchup. So I mean, as long as Will Levis can just refrain from making any crazy decisions, I think this play is just, it's looking pretty good here. He's got a decent matchup against Green Bay too, 19th in receptions allowed to wide receivers, 13th overall. They're giving up 11.5 receptions per game to wide receivers. That doesn't sound like a lot, but Calvin Ridley is by far the number 1 on this team. DeAndre Hopkins has been a ghost, so I really like Calvin Ridley to get over 3.5 receptions. This seems crazy. He's getting 22% of the target share. As you can see, the guy below him is actually Tyler Boyd, tied with Tony Pollard. It's actually crazy what the target share has been on this team. I didn't expect this anyway. I thought DeAndre Hopkins would be the most targeted player on the team just because of how good he is at getting open, but he's been struggling this year. So is Will Levis, but Calvin Ridley's been the more consistent piece on the team. Only 13 targets, but he's still getting us these 4 receptions here. So I like this. He's gone over this in 9 out of his last 10 games. Obviously, this was a different situation last year, but this year he's gone over it twice, or only just once. So like I said, he just barely missed. He had 7 targets in that game with Chicago though, so the target share looks great. It's just whether or not he can rein him in, which I think 4 is a given, honestly. So looking at this on daily grind, it's a 53.05% chance to go over at -134. I feel great about this play. I'm going to try to get it locked in a couple times here tonight. But moving on, I've got Jordan Whittington for over 35.5 receiving yards. Now, he hasn't gone over this at all this year, but here's why I like this play. Number 1, they do not have Cooper Kupp. Number 2, no Puka Nacua. And the coach, I can't think of his name right now.
Sean McVay.
Yeah, Sean McVay. He came out and said that they're going to use Jordan Whittington as their Cooper Kupp while he's gone. And San Francisco has been horrible against wide receivers this year. They're giving up they're ranked 27th in receiving yards allowed, giving up 184.5 this year. So that's a lot. And they just got absolutely cooked by Sam Darnold. I think Matthew Stafford is better than Sam Darnold, so I think he'll figure it out. And I like what I'm hearing. If that's the case, Jordan Whittington's probably going to see 8 targets, in my opinion. I think that's a pretty fair number. Cooper Kupp gets 20 targets a game, so I don't really know what to expect with Jordan Whittington, but he looks great. Even Russo has been on this guy all year long, talking about how good he looks. So I think that as well. So I can't wait to see what the target share is going to look like for him tomorrow, but I can't avoid this one. I mean, I think this is a smash play. 34.5 receiving yards is so low. So I'm gonna be all over this play tomorrow for sure. It is juiced to go under. So are his receptions. His receptions are at 3.5. If you just want the security of maybe him just getting a couple of short yardage plays, I think he's gonna go over 4 receptions. I think he's gonna go over 35 yards. It's a -131 to go under the receiving yards. So if that scares you, you don't have to take it. But the matchup's great. I think he's a good player, so I'm going to be taking the over. I don't really care about the odds on this one at all. It's just game script for me. I think he's got it in the bag here. So. And then next, I'm going with Jaylen Warren's rushing attempts. This looks great. 9 out of his last 10, he's gone over this. This year, he's only gone over it once, but in the first game of the year was against Atlanta. They didn't use him at all, really. Even in the passing game, he just didn't get very many snaps, but it was because he was still hurt. The coach came out and said, I'm talking about Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin came out and said that, he was hurt and he wasn't really ready for a bigger workload. But last week he got 9 attempts and he got a lot of passing work too. So he's right back into his role as the receiver / relief back for Najee Harris, who sucks. So I don't really know why he's getting more rushing attempts, but 9 was good. 9 is definitely like a good number for him. I think this is just going to continue to grow. This is a tough matchup though. I mean, 3rd in rushing attempts allowed because the Chargers have been playing pretty well. But, honestly, this is going to be a tough game for the Chargers, too, because the Chargers, Herbert might be out. Let me see if he's still questionable as of 8 hours ago. So, honestly, if Herbert's out, I think the Steelers are going to win this game. I think the Steelers are honestly still going to win this game. I think they just have a better defense, and I think their team is really stout. But the Chargers up front is insane. I mean, Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack are 2 of the scariest guys you can have. They both took pay cuts to stay on the same team, and they're playing out of their minds. So it's going to be a tough game. But I think if the Steelers get up like I think they are, I think they're going to run the ball a lot. So I think Jaylen Warren will get over the 6.5, no problem. If the 6.5 scares you, take the receiving yards. I like them too. He's just been barely creeping over it though. But he is getting a lot of the target share for the running backs. He's getting about 2 receptions a game right now. So it's a little dicey for the receiving yards too, because he might not even get that, but I like the rush attempts because I think they're going to go up in this game. So that is my consensus on this play. If you look at this on daily grind, it is also juiced to go under. So like I said, if it scares you, the receiving yards are juiced to go over, so you can take that, or you can just fade Jaylen Warren entirely. But I think the guy's great, so I'm going to be taking his rushing attempts over as much as I can. So that's going to be my 3 plays. If you guys want to check out Chalkboard, is another daily fantasy app like Prize Picks and Underdog. It's so much fun to play. They have so many alt lines. They run like 6 specials a day, whether that's a discounted play or a boosted multiplier on just a regular play like Calvin Ridley's receptions at 3.5. So you can get that multiplier up to like 2.5, or they'll put it at something like that. So it's a lot of fun over there. If you want to go check them out, there's a link in the description. Just use code BACKDOOR if it doesn't auto-populate the code for you, which it should if you use the link. And go check them out. They're a lot of fun. They're the king of alt lines. They have so many different options. You can bump Calvin Ridley's receptions up to like 4.5 or 5.5 and get like a 2 or a 3x multiplier on some of those plays. But they have a lot of really fun parlay style props on there too, where you can take like first touchdown of the game or first reception of the game. I seen that one on there the other day. So a lot of really cool lines to play over there. So if you like stuff like that, definitely go check them out. And that's gonna do it for me.
All right. Yeah, there were 2 things I wanted to talk about with your plays. Calvin Ridley. I love that play. And one of the reasons that I was high on him coming in, as soon as I heard their coach talking about him, like he's going to be the Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
But minus the drama. So like, I think that Calvin Ridley is loving his role, and I think it's just going to keep getting better. So This is another play that I feel like we're just a little bit ahead of, because we saw last week him pop off for 2 touchdowns. And the other one was Jordan Whittington. When you look at that line, it's a little bit deceiving, just 2 receptions. What did he do for yards?
He was like 20 something.
22 yards on two catches. He didn't come in until Cooper Kupp left the game. So that's just a second half right there.
Yeah.
They're going to be playing from behind the whole time. So I love that play too. I already locked this in. I threw 2 units on this 6-man, but we're going to, it's like, I'm going to do that, but I'm going to like diversify and mix these plays across other slips as well.
Right.
Speaking of diversifying, We haven't been talking about it enough, but we are on board with Sleeper. So
Yeah.
Sleeper has awesome options as well, and they've been going crazy with the free plays. So when you're doing this daily fantasy prop play type stuff, you want to be diversifying. Like you want to be like I'm comfortably on 5 apps right now, and I've got 3 that are my go-tos. And I also I just like being ready when a killer deal's going on, and Sleeper's been dropping killer plays. They also added alt lines, and when you use the DFS optimizer, you can literally quickly see if another platform has the prop that you're into at a lower line, so you can just hop right over there and lock it in over there. So take advantage of that. For that one, our code is backdoorfs, so just throw the FS on the end of that, and they'll give you a deposit match up to $100, 100% deposit match, and they also have plays as low as $1. So definitely go check out Sleeper too, and it's really convenient because it's just right inside the app. That if you're not playing Sleeper with your fantasy football league, that tells me all I need to know. No offense, but I got an invite, and the first thing I was like, yeah, I'll join this league. A buddy of mine, he's like, it's on Yahoo, is that okay? And I'm like, bro, I'm out. ESPN, like, no thanks. Like, it's got to be Sleeper for fantasy football for me. If you want to come join our Discord, we have a killer community over here. We've been having a lot of fun. It's just full swing. Everybody's in good spirits. We all just kind of banded together on Thursday and just cried on each other's shoulders as we were watching that game unfold. But yeah, I want to shout out Nod, because this is the power of the community. When you have this many eyes on value plays, Nod found this Luke Rayleigh Jr. And it was minus 182 to go over. So I didn't even think about it. I just locked it in, and it was a demon. And I don't know, I was waiting for Prize Picks to come back with the like DMP, like that was, I guess it was just below that threshold. And so I just matched that with the Caleb Williams free play. I just threw $10 on it because I wanted some of that Caleb play left for Sunday. But shout out Nod, he caught that early, and he's been catching some super juicy plays. I see Jordy, you hit that esports play the other night. Jordy's been bad. It's esports season. I take it for Jordy and for the guys, because these guys stay up all hours of the night watching this stuff, and
yes, it ruins my sleep schedule.
I'm like, I'm not that committed, but pretty soon here, once I see everyone heating up, I'm gonna just start tailing these. But you guys look like you're starting to, so maybe I need to start tailing these sooner. Shout out Brother David with the soccer slip.
Feeding the church.
Nicely done, bro. Yeah, he is, Brother David. But if I haven't even told you how to join. But if you guys want to join, go through the Patreon link in the description of the video. That just manages our subscription. So you sign up with Patreon, go into the settings, and then there's a connected apps. Just connect your Discord. It takes 2 minutes to do, and it'll unlock our whole channel for you. But we appreciate you guys tuning in. We will be back tomorrow night with the doubleheader Monday, which is going to be so refreshing to not just have another single game slate, which those single game slates are still fun, but having 2 games, we can really dive into Monday night. And hopefully I have a little bit more of a tan tomorrow. I hope I don't come in here burnt to a crisp. But yeah, we appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure to give us a like on the way out, and we'll catch you in the next video.
Good luck, guys.